Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you could strum through a song called Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Zeppelin. And we're going to start on an A minor chord, and we play A minor. First finger goes to the B string on the first fret, second finger goes to the D string on the second fret, and third finger goes to the G string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A minor chord, and it sounds really, really sad. And then from the A minor on our intro and kind of our verses, we're going to go to a G major chord. We play G major. First finger goes to the A string on the second fret, second finger goes to the low E string on the third fret, and third finger goes to the high E string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now through the tune though, there's some spots actually where we may want to use some different A minors and Gs. And actually another A minor you may want to think about is kind of taking the A minor chord that we were just talking about and taking the pinky and going to high E on the third fret. And that sounds an A minor 7. And you may want to think about kind of using that voicing for some places. Another A minor that you may want to think about, or another way to play A minor 7, is if you take the first finger and leave them on the B string first fret, second finger on the D string second fret. And if you strum all those together, that's another way you can play A minor 7. And actually there's one spot in the tune actually where you may want to kind of think about using second finger and third finger for that particular chord. The other voicings we use. And then another voicing for the G major you may want to kind of think about is doing first finger on the A string second, second finger on the low E string third, and then third finger on the B string third, and the pinky on the high E string on the third. And if you strum all those together, that's another way you could play G major, and it sounds really, really happy. And then from the G major, we're going to be going to a D major chord. And actually, there's a couple different ways you may want to think about playing the D. Normally, you do first finger on the G string second fret, second finger on the high E string second fret, and third finger on the B string on the third fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major. Now on that chord though, in the bass, we'll talk more about basses later, is an F sharp note. So it's really kind of technically a D slash F sharp. And one way to play that chord is to do first finger on the low E string second, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the high E string second, and the pinky on the B string on the third. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a D slash F sharp, or D with an F sharp in the bass. Another D possibility would be taking the D major that we're playing right now and use your thumb to kind of cover that F sharp note on the low E string. And another voicing you may want to think about is something called a D sus slash F sharp, where you do first finger on the low E string second, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the B string third, pinky on the high E string third. And that's something called a D sus slash F sharp. And because of the lick we'll talk about in just a moment, you may want to think about something called a D7 slash F sharp. And actually this could be a cool way to kind of play it, is doing second finger on the low E string, second fret, third finger on the B or G string on the second fret, and first finger on the B string on the first fret. And if you kind of strum just the low E string to the B string, that's something called the D7 slash F sharp. And then the lick that we're going to be talking about, we'll be using the pinky on the B string third, and then kind of moving to that first finger for the B string first fret. So it's kind of a D7 slash F sharp when you're using that C note on the B string first fret. And then from the D, we go to an F major chord. There's a couple different ways you may want to think about F major. Normally you do first finger across the entire first fret, second finger on the G string second fret, third finger on the A string third fret, and the pinky on the D string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an F major chord that sounds really, really happy. Now a good substitute for that chord is something called F major 7. When we play F major 7, first finger goes to the B string on the first fret, second finger on the G string on the second fret, and third finger on the D string on the third fret. And if you strum just the D string to the high E string, that sounds an F major 7 chord that sounds really, really happy. And then from the F, we're going to be going to an E major chord. When we play E major, first finger goes to the G string on the first fret, second finger on the A string on the second fret, and third finger on the D string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an E major chord and it sounds really, really happy. And you might want to consider at different points, actually, especially if you're thinking about kind of jamming this out, using an E7 chord, where you could lift off the third finger from where you are and kind of use just the first finger and the second finger of the E major for an E7 chord. Or you could even take your pinky and kind of add it in on the B string on the third fret. It's kind of another option for E7. And that's our main progression through the song. It's kind of that A minor, G, D, F, E major through our verses. A lot of times with a song like this, though, to make it more interesting, I like adding something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, down, up. So we took the A minor and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, up, A minor, down, down, up, down, 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 up. So we tried that through our intro progression. The weird part is the F and the E major don't last as long. So one way to work those chords is to do just a down, down, up of the strum pattern on those chords. So we tried it that way. We'd have A minor, down, up, down, G, down, up, down, D, down, up, down, F, down, B, down, A minor, down, up, down, G, down, up, down, D, down, up, down, F, down, D, down, A minor, down, up, down, G, down, up, down, D slash F sharp, F, down, B, down. Now something else I would think about adding to the song though is bass notes, and a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, down, up, you could throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the A minor you could do an A bass, down, up, down, A minor with an A bass, down, up, down. On the G chord you'd have the low E string for your bass. To the low E bass, down, down. On the D chord you'd have the D string for your bass. Unless you're doing the D slash F sharp or the D sus slash F sharp. And then we'd have a low E string for our bass, down, up, down. And on the F, if you're doing the bar F, you'd have the low E string for your bass. On the F major 7, you'd have the D for your bass. And then on the E major chord, we'd have the low E string for your bass. Down, up, down, up. So we tried our verse with our bass down, up, down, up. The weird part is where we hit the F and the E, where we really only have enough time to work kind of a bass down, up. So we had a minor with a bass down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, F with a bass, down, E with low E bass, down, minor with an A bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, D with low E bass, down, down, F with low E bass, down, D with low E bass, down, A minor with an A bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, D slash F sharp, F with low E bass, down, D with low E bass, down. Now the licks in the beginning though are kind of working around a fingerstyle idea. And if you're kind of interested in playing those licks, your thumb kind of becomes your bass player. And then for the most part, actually, in the very beginning, you kind of lock in your index finger on the D string, middle finger on the G string, and ring finger on the B string. And a really easy arpeggio to start with would just be kind of going thumb, index, middle, ring, kind of on that chord. Now on the A minor, at the beginning though, there's actually another A chord that's kind of getting used called A sus, where you take the A minor and then you add in the pinky on the B string on the 3rd fret. So our basic lick is kind of starting out thumb, index, middle, ring with the A sus, and then going to A minor. So you got A sus, A minor, and then on the G chord, if you do just the 3rd finger on the low E string 3rd fret, and then take your pinky and kind of go to the B string on the 3rd fret, and then kind of think that same arpeggio. So we're kind of going like a G chord, but then we're almost taking the 1st finger and going to the B string on the 1st fret to kind of take that A minor idea, but now we're doing it around a G chord. So you got kind of A sus, A minor, G with the 3rd fret on the B, 1st fret on the B. And then from there that we could go 2nd finger on the low E string 2nd fret, 3rd finger on the G string 2nd fret, and then kind of take the pinky and kind of add it on the B string 3rd fret to kind of do that same idea around the D slash F sharp, and then kind of lift off the pinky to go to kind of that D7 slash F sharp we were talking about. So it's really all about that 3rd fret, 1st fret idea, but around those arpeggios for the A sus, A minor, G major, D7 slash F sharp. And then we get to our F major chord, and then we kind of do just a thumb, index, middle, ring on F, and then thumb, index, middle, ring on E. So F major, E major. And then the second time through, actually, we end up with some different ideas, where you can kind of take the A minor 7 that we were talking about, and then do your arpeggio, kind of, and now we're kind of moving index, middle, ring to the G string, B string, and E string. So it's almost like fingers have shifted by one string. So we kind of start off with that and then lift off the pinky for just the A minor straight up. And then we kind of do our G major straight up, but then we lift off the pinky to kind of get that open E string as an idea. And then we go back to kind of our D7 slash F sharp idea, and then then back to the F major, and then back to the E major. So all together, you got kind of the A sus, A minor, G with the third fret on the D, first fret on the B, D7 slash F sharp, F major, E major, and then we got A minor 7, lifting the pinky, 3 with low or the high E third, open E, D slash F sharp, F E. And later on, we kind of go into a verse tag, and on our verse tag, actually, we go back to F major, back to E major, back to F major, and back to E major. So you could do that with just your down, down, up, and you'd have F, down, up, down, B, down, down, up, down, F, down, down, up, down, E, down, down, up, down. Or you could add basses to that and have F with the bass, down, down, E with the low bass, down, down, F with the bass, down, down, E with the low bass, down. Digging on the fingerstyle, you could kind of do your F with kind of a thumb, index, middle, ring, and then come back middle, index, middle, and then do that same idea for the E major. So you'd be going low E, D, G, B, G, D, G, and then E major with E, D, G, B, G, D, G. It's kind of like a little arpeggio or broken chord of those two chords. So you may want to kind of think about using those licks too, especially if you're kind of digging on the fingerstyle. And then from there, then we go back into our verse part, which we could do a lot of different ways. You could even just kind of keep the licks that we were just talking about going, or kind of use those through the tune, which could be very, very cool. And then from there, then we go into kind of a breakdown, actually, where we go to the A minor, and there's this cool little strumming thing where we go kind of down, down, up, down, up, down, and then we go to a very, very cool G major chord, where you do your first finger on the G string 7th fret, second finger on the B string on the 8th fret, and third finger on the D string on the 9th fret. And if you strum all those together, it's really kind of a G major chord, but you're kind of hearing the A in the bass. It's almost like a G slash A. And then if you take that shape and then kind of slide it down 2 frets, now I've got first finger on the G string 5th, second finger on the B string 6th, third finger on the D string on the 7th. That's like a little F major chord. There's this cool little hit where we kind of do the G, F. So we go, and this is where you may want to think about using that A minor 7 with 2 and 3, because that way your second and third fingers can actually kind of be set up to slide into that G and that F shape. So just to kind of try and use that, you have A minor 7 with a down, down, up, down, up, down, G, F, and then we kind of do some extra downs on that F. Down, down, up, down, up, down, G, F, down, 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 down. Now, if you just want to strum through that part with our down, down, up, down, up, you can do the A minor with kind of a down, down, up, and then hit your G with a down, up, and then hit your F with the whole pattern. So you might want to kind of think about using it that way too. So you have A minor with a down, down, up, G, down, up, F, down, down, up, down, A minor, down, down, up, G, down, up, F, down, down, up. Or you can add basses to that and have A minor with the bass, down, up, G, down, up, F with the bass, down, down, A minor with an A bass, down, up, G, down, up, F bass, down, down, up. Or you could try and match that rhythm actually where we were talking about with kind of the root position chords. Might be kind of a cool way to kind of match that too. So you may want to kind of think about that. And then from there, then we go back into kind of our verse part, and then back through our verse tag, back to our verse, and then kind of to our breakdown again with the A minor and the G and the F. And then there's a cool little bridge part actually that kind of comes in right there, right after that second chorus. And this is a little weird, but it's almost like another A minor chord actually, is where you could do first finger on the G string on the 5th fret, third finger on the D string on the 7th fret, and there's this cool little lick where you play the A string, and then G string, B string, and then the open E string with that shape now. And it's almost like a little A minor, but we kind of have a B added, so it's almost like an A minor add 9 or so, A minor 9. And then from there, there's a little arpeggio where you take the pinky and kind of go to the B string on the 8th fret, and then you go an A string, D string, G string, B string with that shape down. And then it's almost, and then right after that, it's almost like we took the A sus shape and then kind of moved it up to 7th fret. I've got second finger on the D string 7, third finger on the G string 7, pinky on the B string 8 still. And there's another arpeggio where you're going A, D, G, B, kind of with the right hand, or you could even do that with the pick too. And then you kind of lift off the pinky and put first finger on the G or on the B string on the 6th fret, which is almost like a little A minor shape, but now it's moved up the neck, so it's really kind of like a little D minor. So this is really kind of a D sus idea, D minor idea. So you got kind of A minor, D sus, D minor, A sus, A minor, D sus, D minor. And if you wanted to, you could even kind of use those chords if you just want to strum through that part. So we could start on the A minor, and then we could go to a D sus. The way you play D sus, first finger goes to the G string on the 2nd fret, third finger goes to the B string on the 3rd fret, and the pinky goes to the high E string on the 3rd fret. And that sounds a D sus, or D suspended chord. And then from there we could go to D minor, and then we play D minor. First finger goes to the high E on the 1st fret, second finger on the G string on the 2nd fret, and then third finger on the B string on the 3rd fret. And if you strum just the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D minor. So if you were going to strum through it, you could kind of do your whole pattern on the A minor, and then kind of half the D minor, or the D sus and the D minor. So you'd have A minor down, down, up, down, D sus, D minor, A minor down, up, down, D sus, and D minor, A minor down, up, down, D sus, D minor. Or if you want to add basses to that, your D chords would have kind of the D string for your bass. So you have A minor, then A bass, down, up, down, D sus, D minor, A minor, A bass, down, up, down, D sus with D bass, down, D minor, D bass, down, A minor, A bass, down, up, down, D minor, D sus, D minor, A minor, D sus, D minor. And then from there, then we go into kind of a really cool rock breakdown of kind of our verse part. And instead of using the A minor, you may want to use something called an A5 or an A5 power chord, where you can take first finger and go to the low E string on the 5th fret, third finger on the A string on the 7th fret, and if you strum those two together, that sounds an A5 power chord. It sounds really powerful, and the reason why we call it A5 is you're playing an A note, an A, B, C, D, E, and E note, so it's 5 away. And then from the A5, then we'd be going to kind of a G5 power chord instead of our G major, where you take that shape and slide it down to 3rd fret. So now I got first finger on the low E 3rd, third finger on the A string 5th fret, and that's called a G5 power chord. And then instead of playing a D slash F sharp, you could use something called a D3 slash F sharp, or I call it a D3 slash F sharp, where you do your first finger on the low E 2nd fret, and then the pinky or the third finger on the A string 5th fret. And I call that a D third, because you're playing a D and an F sharp, which is the third, which you got the F sharp in the bass. And then from there, then we could go to an F5 power chord, where you do first finger on the low E string 1st fret, third finger on the A string 3rd fret, and if you strum the E and A with that, that sounds an F5 power chord. And then instead of the E major, you may want to think about using an E5 power chord, where you do your first or your second finger on the A string on the 2nd fret on the A string, and kind of plays just the E and the A string. So this whole part's kind of happening on just the E and A string, where you take the A minor code, down, 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 and that's our main rhythm through this part, is down, 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 down. And then we go to G and do that same idea. And then we go to D slash F sharp, and then we go to F with the down, 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 and then we go to the E for the down, down idea at the end. So you got A5, G5, D slash F sharp, F, E, A5, G5, D slash F sharp, F, E. So you want to kind of think about using that rhythm through it, or you can even kind of take that rhythm and then use that on your big chord. So especially if you're doing it solo, that might be a little bit more effective. Now, if you've got an electric and you've got tons of distortion, the power chord will work fine for you. So you may want to kind of think about that. Or you could even kind of go back to your verse part. If you just want to strum through that part, it would be the same thing as our verse, where we have the A minor, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, G, down, down. we go back to kind of our verse tag. So we're kind of back to our F down, up, down, B down, down, up, down, F down, down, up, down, B down, down, up, down. But you may want to use the power chords and follow that same rhythm. Kind of like in the F and the E5, kind of keeping that groove going. And then from there, then we kind of go back into kind of our breakdown where we have the A minor, G. So that chorus part, or that breakdown part, is kind of coming back. And then from there, then we go back into kind of our verse part. So we're kind of back to that A minor. Kind of think about using that fingerstyle or strumming through that, and then we're basically repeating those parts until we get to our outro. So right after that, kind of that last time through, then there's this really cool little double back, and we end up kind of going to an F major chord, but you may want to do kind of a down on it, just kind of like a big rake actually on your outro. And then we go to an E major, and it almost sounds like kind of a big rake with an upstroke. And then we go back to F with kind of a big rake with a downstroke. And then we go back to E major with kind of a big rake with an upstroke. And then there's some really cool licks that come in on that outro part where you could kind of take second on the G string and kind of work that as a hammer-on pull-off. And this is kind of tricky actually, but I'm kind of playing second fret on the G string, putting my third finger down with enough force to carry the sound, which is called a hammer-on, and then I'm letting my finger fall off the string right after that. And if you do it with enough force, and you may have to kind of wind up a little bit with the third finger, you can kind of keep that idea going. And then there's this really cool lick that comes in around a D chord actually. And it almost sounds like it starts out on kind of a D sus2, where if you take your D major and lift off the second fret, or the second finger, which is always a dangerous finger to lift, and if you strum the top four strings, that's something called a D sus2. And it almost sounds like we kind of do the open D and the open E at the same time, and then second on the G, and then open E twice. I'm kind of doing that hybrid picking now, but you could try the fingerstyle too, where I'm using the pick for the bass and using my finger for kind of the other note to kind of bring it out. And then we almost go to kind of an interesting shape where we do second fret on the G string, fourth fret on the B string, and then kind of do that same idea, kind of that D and 4 together, 2, 4, 4. And then we kind of go slide back into kind of a D shape and do that same idea. And then we kind of do that same idea again. And at the very end, you can go all the way up to 7th fret on the D string, 5th on the G, kind of that A minor we were using earlier, and kind of work it as kind of a D, G, B, E arpeggio. And then for myself, what feels really good is to kind of take the first finger and kind of flatten them out over the D, G, or the G, B, and E, and then kind of work that last hit as kind of just a big A minor chord, but now you're doing it 7, 5, 5, 5. So all together through that last part, you got kind of an F major, E major, F major, E major, and then hammer-on pull-offs, and then the 4, 2, on 4, 2, 4, 4, on 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 5, 7, 5, 7, 0, 0. But that's the basics of how you could strum through and fingerstyle your way through Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You by Led Zeppelin. So good luck!